Well, hello and welcome to our Subconscious Speaks. My name's Don Robert, and together with my amazing bestie, award-winning, top of our class bestie,
Tina Orlando.
and together we are,
Tina Orlando.
and Flash. Nice entrance on
Yeah,
cue.
he's
Like,
on cue.
is he standing in for, is that Drew stand-in?
Yeah, yeah,
Can we just talk about that for a second? I was
sure.
thinking I was kind of cruising through the episode last week, like on Wednesday, just kind of looking and number one, I noticed this was the quietest you've ever been.
True.
And as we talked afterwards behind the scenes, all of the questions that could be asked.
hmm
What was the I forget the one. What did you learn that you didn't know already? There was something.
I don't know. I forget
All
now.
right, all
There
right.
was something that I didn't know
There
about
was
him.
something, yeah. And I certainly had a lot of fun channeling my inner actor.
Mm,
That was fun. So
hmm
thanks,
Yeah,
thanks
you.
for setting that up.
No
I
problem.
love your son, or I love him already, but
Yeah.
to be able to chew the fat with him in a kind of a
hmm
official way was just wonderful. So
Yeah,
thanks for setting that up.
absolutely.
I'm
You're
kind of
good.
digging the special guest theme. What do you think?
I like it. I
Yeah,
definitely like it. Yeah, I think we should do that more often.
I think we're gonna. I think
hmm
we're gonna.
hmm hmm
Say, hey, loyal listeners that are out there, you
hmm
followers, you listeners, feel free to drop a comment in. We have some pretty good connections. We have a pretty cool list, a working
hmm
list in our minds of who we're going to approach to call on to the show. But if there's someone, I mean, Joe Dispenza, like, yeah, feel free to put his name in the list.
Right? Go ahead.
Yeah, he's
I
going to
would.
be in LA speaking at Mind Valley, but yeah,
Oh,
I
huh.
don't think he's coming on our podcast anytime
I
soon, but
mean, you never know, though.
you
I
never
mean,
know.
you never know.
We definitely have somebody in line that is I believe, at that level.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So no
hmm
spoiler alerts there. You just got to wait
hmm
and see.
hmm hmm
Tune in. Post every Sunday,
Absolutely.
usually,
Subconscious Sunday.
even tomorrow. Yeah.
hmm
Yeah.
Subconscious Sunday. Isn't that what it is?
It is Subconscious Sunday. That's right.
I
Yeah,
like
you
it.
like
I
that. I
like
know you
it.
did. You even
I
said it. Yeah.
I do. I like that
Yeah.
one. It's a
Yeah.
good way. It's a good day to start it off the week the way you want it to
Mm-hmm.
be
Mm-hmm.
subconsciously.
Making conscious choices.
Absolutely.
Yeah, as I
Absolutely.
like to tell my clients, I round up. Oh, and I was in a 101
hmm
practicum on Thursday
hmm
night, and Laura even she was doing a quick review of our first, like literally your first week of class. It's so
Uh-huh.
exciting to be part of that again, Tina,
hmm
as an instructor now, and it's just
hmm
like all these memories just rushing back. And she even said, because it still has the CAPAS 88 and 12, right?
hmm
88% subconscious and 12%
Right.
conscious. I've rounded up for years now. I've been doing 90/10. And
hmm
then, as we know, we've said it on the channel before, Joe Dispenza, who's probably the most infamous graduate from HMI, does
hmm
95/10. And even Laura said she didn't quote out any numbers. She still stuck with the 88/12, but she inferred further research because this is like 1968.
Right. Research
Okay.
is,
It's
yeah.
a lot more information that's become available.
It's
Um,
true.
and so she didn't point out any numbers, but she did a nod to the fact that, more information has become available and it higher than 88 at this point. So I just thought that
Absolutely.
was pretty cool. Wanted to share that with you.
Absolutely. The subconscious is running the show.
Yeah.
It's whether or not you're listening.
I see what you did there.
Yeah. Yeah. So, um, I definitely I mean, just look around you, you know that it's more than what people think. I think it's closer to that 95.5. I do, especially with the rise of,
It sure seems like it. Yeah. And I would say I wish there was a way to test it, or like sample groups are so picky with, like, you can almost pick the right group to get the results you want.
yeah.
But I'm very curious. Like, I firmly believe, I don't have any statistics to back this up, but um, generally speaking, I believe that since COVID and we all got shut down into the house, onto
Hmm.
our devices, onto Zoom,
They had to reframe you. Hmm.
everything changed, right?
Right.
And the overload, the inputs, right? As Melton and Cheryl would say in 101, they would, the message units have
The message
changed.
is, yes.
It's the super highway now. It's like going from driving in the slow lane with a grandmother in front of you on the super highway in Germany.
Well, it's a Model T versus a Bugatti.
There you go. There it is. Boom.
Hmm.
It's the Jetsons.
It is. It is. It is.
Jane, his wife.
Oh, wait. Everyone needs
I
to listen.
Yeah. Super highway. Yeah, there it
Hmm.
is.
Hmm. It is.
Um,
It's a thing, and it's a big thing that most people aren't. Um, they don't understand it. I think that might be the problem. Is that a lot of people don't get the actual concept, and it's really not a concept, but the idea that what you're seeing and hearing is literally overload, like because it's
yeah.
so much that we're taking in comparison. Like it really is. How long do people can people go without their phones? Not very long. I'm guilty of it. Like I'll feel the panic if I don't know where my phone is because my whole life is on there. And if your whole life is on there, then you're actually paying attention to your whole life all the time, which is just message, just information. If you think of it as bits of information, which I know you say a lot of, um, we're taking in, huge amounts of information, huge, huge, constantly, all the time. And that is what overload is.
Even the court, when they played that video, the amounts of bits of information,
Hmm. Hmm.
millions,
Hmm.
which,
Yeah.
which you can't fathom with your conscious thinking. You
No.
you can't track with that.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
mm,
No, I was thinking like, yeah, you can't. It's like trying to fathom space or, how many stars are in the universe. Like you can't really fathom
mhm.
that.
Yeah.
It's that kind of big concept, but the reality is that we are taking in so much information. It's why people are more tired. It's why people are more stressed out or um, run down, overworked. People feel tired when they haven't done anything physical.
And the checkout has become the norm. Like it's a running joke. I'm slightly active on TikTok just because I like the what the algorithm feeds me, right? The
Hmm. Hmm.
positive, the mindset stuff,
Right.
and it it's just there's the jokey channels that I also tend to tap on, and so when you like
Hmm.
something, it'll feed you more because it's like,
Right.
oh, he likes that, we'll give him some more.
Right.
So be mindful of what you're liking and sharing and whatnot. And there was this couple of different people posting about this running joke of um, they're like on the couch and they got the remote and they're like, put Netflix on and then like during the movie, go on TikTok for 4 hours because you're just not even,
Right.
it doesn't even hold your attention anymore.
No. No. No.
Not
It
the
doesn't because it's
attention
not.
of the ADD kind of world we're living in right now.
No, it's just not enough information coming in. They've set the bar a certain place. And when you aren't giving yourself that amount of information, there's boredom.
Hmm.
It's not boredom.
So it's almost like the mice on the wheel.
Hmm.
If they get off, they just want to go right back on because that's what
Right.
they're used to. It
Right.
becomes known.
Known.
There it
It's a
is.
known association.
There it
Like I
is.
should be, the
Yeah.
known association is, my phone in my hand,
Yep.
taking in information constantly. Um, and it's bad. It's bad. Um, even even you could be paddling out in the middle of an ocean and not want to be there because there's so much other stuff going on. You're really not present. I think that's the point, is that we're never
Yes, I
really
agree.
present.
Yeah.
Um, and out in the middle of the ocean, it might be a good idea to be present, maybe for the beauty of it, the enormity of it. But it's not enough.
Are you speaking to that when you work with clients with stress and anxiety, like being in the present, being in the moment, being in the now,
Yes,
which is the challenge
yes,
for
yes.
everyone, right?
I see a lot of it, a
Yeah.
lot of actually being present, not and present and grateful. Which, interestingly enough, that's a tough one when maybe you didn't grow up in an environment where you didn't have a lot to be grateful for. So
Mm,
you don't know how to do that. It's not a known
mm,
association. So then you have to then relearn that. But yeah, so being present, being grateful for the moment, learning how to do that is, paramount to the work.
yeah.
But a lot of people are just in what's next, what's coming, what am I
Hmm.
doing in 5 minutes, in 5 hours, in 5 days? Like they're always in the future. They're not really sitting in today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if they are, then you've got this negative Nancy that creeps in, right? That inner critic voice that comes in and was like, you're not good enough, you're not smart enough, you're not pretty enough, you're not whatever, fill in the blank. Um,
Hmm.
boy, yeah,
Those are learned.
a lot going on out there right now.
There is, and I think it's getting worse.
Hmm.
Um, where those negatives are loud for a lot of people. They're not just occasional. They're loud negatives a lot of the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. And a lot of it is, they don't you don't have a known opposite. So, if they're known negatives, like they probably grew up that way.
Hmm.
They didn't grow up
Definitely.
with a positive
Yeah.
known. Mhm. And the reason why we keep saying known is because it's a known association, right?
Right. Yep.
So,
It
hmm
becomes, I like the term life script, you know.
hmm
It's
hmm
the role that you kind of assign yourself. It's easy to kind of point the finger and say, well, if I grew up in a different this or different that or like, but there's I think there's choices along the way. I think
Sometimes.
I think there is the ability to look in a different direction and put your attention in a different place. On your own,
hmm
that seems quite difficult. With
hmm
hypnosis and working with clients in hypnotherapy, that seems to be the thing that works the best is being able to shift your perspective, not only about yourself, but how you show up in the world and how you operate day to day. And, you take on different ways to deal with the inner critic, to deal with the inner turmoil and the overload.
hmm
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, inner critic, inner child, like it all kind of comes back to that, um, the childhood basically, because that's where we're learning everything. That's
certainly where
where
it all starts, right?
I mean, that is where your stuff starts. The problem with it is, I think sometimes, when you're younger, you don't know to look around. Like you're not sure why this is happening to you. You don't have
Yeah.
enough of that information yet.
Well, the critical
Um,
mind hasn't kicked in yet. You're just
right,
a little sponge, you
right,
know?
right. Until you're about 26, and then it starts to kick in. Um, and then, it's why am I like this? Well, it's not today's problem. That started a long time ago. Most
Mm.
problems don't start today. They've already been instilled as patterns into your subconscious.
They just start showing up in a more predominant way. Yeah. And or as you've evolved as a human, you notice things differently, especially if
hmm
you're listening to, podcasts or,
hmm
reading books that open your mind to what's out
hmm
there and how you
hmm
operate in the world. Yeah,
Yeah, I, it's a thing. It is a thing. Like, I mean, some people are just maybe they have a tough childhood and they don't have time to stop and think. Maybe they just need to survive. Um,
That's
in
fair.
which case, at some point, you will have to stop and look around and unfortunately be the adult that you are and, kind of start to fix some of those things because they will show up, whether it's in your relationships that are personal or in business or even in friendship.
Hmm.
Unfortunately, we have to reckon with how we grew up. Because, most people are just doing their best.
Yeah,
But we do have to, you know, reconcile some of it.
there it
Mm-hmm.
is. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Reconcile, look at, inventory.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Yeah, those are big words.
those are big hills to climb on your own.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But there is help. You just got to find what works for you,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
you know?
Yeah. I mean, some people feel, Carl Jungian theory is absolutely on point. And, they go down that road of therapy, which is great. Some people think, hypnotherapists are pretty phenomenal. And you might come down this road.
Hmm.
Um, it doesn't matter, whatever speaks to you, whatever works. Um, but you need to do it.
Yeah. So
Because,
what do you
yeah.
what do you think is what's like the biggest roadblock in your experience of people stepping into our world and asking for help?
Um, well, I think they're afraid that A, they're going to be out of control, or B, they're going to be a completely different person. And C, if I change, does that mean everything in my life changes?
Mm,
And it's a big one I hear.
that's a big one. Yeah.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Hmm. I
Because
can't
you're
answer
breaking the
that.
paradigm. Because
Hmm.
your family, your partner, your whatever, right? Your
Hmm.
closest circle
Hmm.
expects you to show up in a certain way and be a certain type of person with a certain
Hmm.
personality with certain traits. And yeah, that's like upsetting the apple cart. God forbid you change.
God forbid.
Whoa, who gave you permission to do that?
How dare you be different?
Whoa,
Dare you
I
heal
thought we had
yourself?
an unwritten agreement here. You're going to be you and I'm going to be me and we're good the way we are. Yeah,
How dare you heal yourself and call out everything? Um, you know,
it's tricky.
it
Yeah. When you get
is.
sober, they tell you that. The only thing you have to change is everything because people,
Right.
places, and things are just not going to align with the new you.
Right.
Yeah.
And some of that can be said for doing the work, and the emotional work. Um, but you can stay where you are, and
This is the thing I'm talking about. Choice. That is a choice for
it
sure.
is a choice. That's what I was getting ready to say. That's a choice.
Hmm.
But if you were meant to stay where you were or are, you'd have roots and you'd be a tree.
You're
Just
funny.
being funny.
Yeah. I don't know how many people just got that little joke.
Well, you could grow and change and move about the world. Um, and that's great. And that's what we need to do as human beings as to evolve. Um, you know, that's what we need to do. Not everybody's going to like it though.
Yeah, it's an interesting time of the year too. Forget about what's going on in the public eye and with political situations. I'm talking just like the season of spring, right? I mean, it's literally Easter weekend.
Yes, it is. Hmm.
It's the rebirth of
Hmm.
your it's an opportunity.
Hmm.
Yeah. So interesting
And
we're
you,
talking about this today.
and
I like when
hmm
the stars align like that.
yeah, I mean, it's not an easy road, but it's worth it to be who you are authentically, you know. And yeah, it's springtime. and it's time to grow and it's time to change and all those things are great. And
Hmm.
we all have to do it. We have to do it though, because staying the same, like stuck in that same rut, um, that's pretty miserable. Because ask yourself if you are you happy? Because if you were happy, you wouldn't be asking the question.
So I think that's the bigger question and rub is you're you're kind of stuck in this pattern
Hmm.
and you'd like it to be different, but that's a big step to change, to ask for help. Huge. It's almost
Hmm.
like end of the rope kind of thing.
Hmm.
That's what it seems like.
Hmm.
I hear a lot. I talk to a lot of people and I don't work with all of them, but I talk to a lot of people and I had this guy I talked to last night, heavy duty stress and anxiety, using the terms panic attack, but not diagnosed.
Hmm.
So I said, well, here's a freebie. Let's just start to change the way you talk about that. We're not gonna, you're not under attack. That's one of my favorite things to do. I figured that
Hmm.
out with my first anxiety guy that back
Hmm.
5 years ago. And, um, but there's this, he said, I asked him, what's your experience with hypnosis or hypnotherapy? Have you been to a show or movies? Like, is it the Hollywood version? He's like, yes, 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 and yes. And he said, I would consider myself a bit of a skeptic, but I'm desperate.
Hmm.
I know I try to be mindful of how much I talk about my experience in sobriety in a 12-step program, but like those are the people that typically make it,
Yeah,
the ones that are desperate and are done. It's very
desperate.
similar to the approach I take with smokers. I
Hmm.
mean, I have a really high success rate with smokers because
Hmm.
I attract and I interview the right clients that are done.
Right. You
They're
have to
so
be
sick
done.
and it's literally like an addiction. It is an addiction. It's not like addiction, right?
It
Where
is.
you're sick and tired of being sick and tired and being controlled by that horrible addiction.
Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
You have to be sick and tired. So, I mean, even if, you know, it's a relationship or a part of you or it's something that you do, you have to be tired of being that way.
Hmm.
That's really what it is. But I hear it a lot when it's like, well, nothing else works, so I'm going to try this. And they're talking about hypnotherapy, and that's I'm like, of
Yeah.
course,
I
okay.
You've heard me say this before. I'm going to say it again because I said it to this guy last night. I'm like, yeah, we're typically the last house on the block, and I like to say that we're in the cul-de-sac. I'm grateful to be in the cul-de-sac of mental
Absolutely,
health.
absolutely.
Okay. I might be
Hmm.
the house in the back that needs maybe the shrubs to be trimmed a little because it's the high up and you can't really see it, but
I
we're
think we're the
there.
scary house on the block.
You're the scary.
That's
No, let
yeah,
go of
that's
that.
how no, that's how I think that people see us is
Oh,
that it's the scare, that one house with the weird people that live inside, like, it's like that's how we're seeing, like, they're okay, they come out once in a while, but you
mm-hmm.
know
Mm-hmm.
that's how I see it. But we're on the street, so it's okay.
I
um but
Yes.
there's nothing to be afraid of. You're not gonna, be a completely different person. You're not ever going to be out of control. Um, so you'll just change the things you really are wanting to change.
Yeah,
It's that simple.
it really is.
It's just not going to take, you know, $10,000 and 10,000 hours to do it. Sorry.
No, don't be sorry.
It's true.
No, it's awesome.
I improve.
Yeah.
And I know lots of others that are proof. So,
Hmm.
but yeah, um, you know, that's, uh, that's the world we live in, that people are overloaded with random information, whether it's true or not, it's all
Hmm.
debatable, but it's really random with the amount of information. I think people are actually addicted to taking in large amounts of information. And we all know with an addiction, when you're not doing it, there is some anxiety.
The longing. Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah.
Like being
Yeah.
away from your phone.
Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah.
I'm guilty. I mean, I think everybody has that um feeling going on a little bit at least. Like, I mean, I can't imagine driving around, not for me, but for some people like that have never actually driven somewhere without GPS. That must be really scary,
I mean,
you know?
if you don't know where you're going, yeah. I mean,
No, no, no. There's there's a lot of people that do not drive without GPS.
right.
Hmm. And they go that path every time.
I see what you're saying.
Really? Why? Don't you know where you're going?
I would like to speak for some of those people that use Waze so they can be alerted as to traffic situations, the police officers that are strategically hiding on the freeways. Like,
Hmm. Uh-huh. I get it.
yeah,
I get some of it, but there was a time when there was no
there was a time when I had
GPS.
a book in my car to get around LA called the Thomas Guide.
This guide.
Yeah,
Hmm. Well, and
which was
and I'm
worse. Talk about unsafe driving. Like,
mhm.
it's not even like this guy was driving next to me that almost swerved into me as I was going to get my haircut today. And he's like literally had his phone up in front of his wheel.
Huh?
I'm like, dude, what are you doing, bro?
Don't know. I
You
don't
can
know.
wait.
Yeah, yeah. The world we live in. It's fun. It's a good time. Mhm.
But you can use those powers for good as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But ultimately, the overload is what we're talking about, though. We are
Tis,
talking about overload.
yeah.
You know,
Hmm.
it's it's a thing. Like
It's a thing.
95.5 is a thing, man. Overload. Like,
Yeah.
you know, I mean, I wish there was a test, like an actual test people could take, but I guess the simplest way would be put down your phone, do not pick it up for half an hour and see how long you can last.
Challenge accepted. You know what I've started doing? After I do my mental bank, about a half an hour before I go to bed,
Hmm.
I go into my bedroom, plug my phone in, and turn it off.
Okay.
Like, no more. I'm done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I gotta be honest, in the beginning it was like, but I might need that one alert that's gonna change my life at 12:47 in the morning. No, I'm not.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
I think I'm hilarious sometimes the way I think.
Well, I mean, I think a lot of people think, oh, I have to leave it on or whatever. And I mean, I get leaving it on, but can you just not look at it?
Yeah, so I put it in a different room to eliminate if it's in reach, I'm probably because I am programmed to reach for it.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm saying. Like,
Yeah.
can you put it down next to you and not pick it up the entirety of a movie? Well, I was in a movie theater and I couldn't believe that somebody was looking at their phone while the movie's going. I'm like, what? The
It's
movie isn't on your phone.
it's
What
the
are you
Netflix
doing?
example. It's not enough action, and not enough message units flying at you at the speed of this. If you
Well,
could
which
do
they,
this to the movie, you would stay with it. I mean, you can. It's like a little, we call it the FF, right? The fast forward.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah. So there's some overload all over, everywhere. Try and take down the overload.
All right, so let's talk about that.
Okay, what? What do you want to talk about?
Okay, I think we've made it abundantly clear. Overload.
Hmm.
Great.
Overload.
Okay,
Hmm.
what does that mean and what do we do with it?
I just told you what it means. Like it means you're taking in way too much information.
Fair, fair. Our
Can you
environment, the
slow it
news, all of
down?
it. Yeah, there's the
Yeah,
question. Yeah.
right. Can you slow it down? Like you don't have to cure it, just slow it down. maybe that might be easier for people to kind of wrap their heads around. Like you don't have to stop not you don't have to stop looking at your phone or doing the
Hmm.
things, but
Hmm.
can you slow down the information? Can you limit it?
Right.
And then pay attention to see the differences in you. Because when you're overloaded like that, there are other things that happen. Anxiety is a little high up there. So um, that's kind of that's kind of the challenge.
Yes, it is. It's the biggest part of it, right? And we've talked about
Right.
this, like being present
Mm-hmm.
and like using your breath.
Mm-hmm.
I actually learned a long time ago a silly little trick is if you want to be in the present, look down and look at where your feet are.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's where you
Mm-hmm.
are right now in this moment. Like I'm at my
Right.
desk talking to you. That's all
Mm-hmm.
that matters right now is this. I can't do
Right.
anything about what might happen on Monday. Not
Yeah.
right now.
No, no,
I
you
can
can't.
prepare for Monday on Sunday.
Sure.
Right now in this moment, I'm 100% with you
Right. It's being present.
and them
Uh, oh,
and you all.
mhm. But you're present right now. So
Yes.
do this. Do this right here, right now.
So that's what I think the crux of it is, right? Of all this overload, because we're now used to it.
Hmm.
We're used to a
Right.
million bits of information coming at us every second.
Uh-huh.
So if you
Hmm.
slow down, it feels uncomfortable because that's not what you
That's
know.
the that's
It's
the
not the
anxiety.
norm anymore. So you have
Right.
to choose to, this is where I talk to my clients about, I'll handle 90% of the work. I'll deal with the
Hmm.
subconscious, but your
Hmm.
10% matters.
Right. You have to do some of the work, which is put down the phone, which is
Yeah.
really acknowledge when just start acknowledging when you're not present.
Mm. We've talked about this before, the watching, right? And pausing, watching and pausing. It's
Watch,
so
pause,
once
inventory.
once you've taken the inventory and you've uncovered it and discovered and you've taken some steps, now there's this daily kind of reprieve, this daily activity of paying attention to how you are in the moments.
Hmm.
That's the
Hmm.
mindfulness that is kind of caught
Right. Because
on.
most of us are just running autonomically. Like
Yes.
we just going through our day, doing everything we do every day. It's become a very much of a routine that we are on autopilot a lot of the time,
Hmm.
you know,
Yeah.
which would also speak to why so many people are startled easily because they are stuck in their own, fog basically
Yeah.
and their own overload. Um, oh, and like I said, overload. It's that's really, if you could just pay attention to see when you're not present, like when when are you present then? Like a lot of people don't, you're doing so many things automatically, people don't
Hmm.
know when they're actually present. They forgot what that feels like and they're seeing it as anxiety. And I don't think it's they've got it mixed up, I think.
Hmm.
I think
Interesting.
so.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
I think so. What we would normally see as calm, you know, I think people then are looking for more information and they can't find it. So then they start to kind of wrestle and get really anxious and uncomfortable. And then, of course, it starts to spin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But even the
Yeah.
spin is comfortable because it's known. It's what you've
Mm-hmm.
come to expect of your
Mm-hmm.
experience. And
Right.
while you want it to stop or you want to change, like if you don't take action in any kind of way, um, and there's like little things you can do. You can shift your mindset by moving your body. We've talked about
Mm-hmm.
this, right? You want to
Mm-hmm.
move your body, change your mind kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Listening to music might help.
Music, absolutely. Getting
You
out,
know.
just walk. I walk outside. I'm very blessed that I have a really nice backyard that I can go out and just kind of feel like I'm at a little mini resort.
Mm-hmm.
And spring right
Mm-hmm.
now, I've got all of these rose bushes back here that are just blooming. Oh,
Mm.
so beautiful. And then
Hmm.
I've got one of my favorite scents is the night blooming jasmine. So
Hmm.
I'll like after today, I'll sit down and kind of watch the sunset and
Hmm.
just kind of get in touch with myself instead of
Hmm.
rushing over to the TV and rushing to this or rushing to that. You know,
Right, right. People are always seem to be seeking like, let's go surfing or let's go hiking or, they're all people are always saying those things. Like these are the things they love to do. Maybe they're not doing enough of it. Or when they're doing it, are they truly present? I would think that if you're surfing, you have to kind of be present or you're not going to win that one.
yeah.
But hiking might be a better example. You're hiking, but are you taking in every color, every texture? Challenge yourself. How many different textures can you find?
Mm.
How many textures can you feel? Like really being present in the moment. When you're done hiking, do you take your shoes off and ground into the earth? Like, can you feel the ground underneath you? Slowing it down. I think that we're hitting a pace that humans aren't meant to keep up with. It's
It's
why,
dangerously spinning out like
uh,
a twister. It
yeah,
feels like that, you know.
hmm I think this is a problem. You know, I do. I think it's a problem. If you're not anywhere where there's flowers, go to a Home Depot, go to a Lowe's, go to I'm serious, go to
I know
a
I'm
nursery.
smiling for a different reason. I'm because I
You
yesterday I had three clients, two of which I used imagery where they were out in a field and there were
hmm
yellow flowers and purple flowers and like they're in this unburdening imagery that I do. They start off by walking
right.
through a meadow and I just
hmm
love that. Having experienced it in person in Maui, not Maui, Kauai when I was
hmm
there, right? I did that ceremony and I had
hmm
this wild experience of having said it so many times to clients in
hmm
hypnosis as part of their
hmm
journey of healing. And
hmm
now I was experiencing it. It's just such a trip. Um,
I
yeah.
mean,
So
I know it sounds crazy, but there are people that, maybe it's just now spring, so they probably haven't seen flowers because it's snow and it's cold and it's winter. I mean, go to a nursery, go to a Home Depot, look at the greenery, walk through the garden section, touch the flowers, like be a part, get tactical with it. Like, you
mm,
know, that might help. Just slow down.
it will help. There's no might
Yeah.
about that.
Well,
It will
I know
help.
it'll help. I know
Yeah.
it'll help.
Yeah. Yeah.
But, this might be a thing that works for you
Yeah.
or,
It's a great
um,
hack. I
yeah,
hope everybody caught that. Go to Home Depot.
that's what I
Because
do.
people in Minnesota, they're I don't know if they're seeing flowers just yet.
Look, I when I lived in Vegas, there wasn't a lot of greenery. I spent so much time at the Home Depot just walking around the greenery, like the garden
You
section.
know why?
Just
It's alive.
I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I
Yeah.
would just zone out. Like I was there for a really long time. Um,
That's
but
awesome.
yeah. So I mean,
What a
you
great
get
hack. Nice job.
a
Yeah.
thanks.
Yeah.
That might work.
For anybody that got angry about when I was talking about my backyard, there's your hack. You don't have to
It's true.
live here.
It's true. Just go to a
If you're
nursery,
in
go to a
driving
Home Depot.
distance, you're welcome to come over. There's plenty of seats available in the backyard for just meditative kind of
Mhm.
zoning out and smelling the
Mhm.
smells and seeing the
Yeah.
sights. Today
Yeah.
was one of those days where, 82 out and it just,
Mhm. Right.
short sleeve. I know you got
Yeah.
your short sleeve on, right? It's
I
like a
do. I
short sleeve
do.
day. I know, I
It
saw.
is.
Yeah.
Well, it is that time of year. Sometimes it snows in April. Um,
In
so
Minnesota, yeah.
yeah, well,
Other
where it's
places.
so cold it keeps the bad people out, apparently. That's what I've been told.
Mm. Yeah.
There might be somebody that agrees with me.
Not
But
Leroy Brown, that's for sure.
yeah. Um so yeah, those are the things that you can do, but you gotta, slow it down. Um, just try and think one thought, you know? like the word happiness.
So step off the superhighway and go into a crawl.
Yes, yes. Try and think like one thought, happiness. And don't say it out loud, but you're going to say it in your head. And then maybe the next question is, who said that?
Hmm.
Whose voice is that? What image comes with that?
Hmm.
When you really start to slow down, that base part of your brain needs a physical action. Try opening your mouth like an alligator, which is super slow, and it'll slow your whole nervous system down by very slowly opening your mouth. I know it sounds crazy, but it works, especially if you're having angsty thoughts,
Hmm.
angsty physical. It'll help if you just very slowly, like an alligator would very slow, like I mean, like an alligator, like super slow. You just open your mouth and try and breathe, and I guarantee you that you'll have to exhale or yawn because your body's trying to re-regulate out of fight or flight, which I think most people are in nowadays.
Yes.
Easily startled. Um, you
Took
know,
almost 40 minutes to get there after talking about overload for all this time. And then there it is, finally, the fight or flight.
well, I mean, I
I'm
was
just
trying
saying,
to,
like, neither one of us even
yeah,
mentioned that yet, that that's
yeah,
really the heart of it all.
yeah, yeah. But we've been trying to say it a little different, so
Yeah, no,
that
I like that. I
overload,
appreciate that.
yeah, yeah. So that overload, but that is what we're doing when we're taking in like that amount of information. So just that action of slowly opening your mouth, like at a crawl, just very
Mhm.
slowly, um, will start to reset your nervous system and the vagal nerve. Um, it'll start to reset it.
There you
Another
go.
hack. Mhm.
The South Florida hack, the Bayou.
There you go.
Where'd you pick that one up? I have not heard of that one. The alligator opening of the mouth. Where'd that come from?
An amazing therapist that I have the wonderful pleasure of working with. Um, I was so dysregulated, and I can't even explain to you how deregulated I was. She actually said, "Okay, stop. All I want you to do is very slowly open your mouth."
Hmm.
And I had to do this like 5 or 6 times before I actually could get it to go slow enough because I was so deregulated that I would just pop open like nope, that's wrong, slower. And she kept slowing me down to so that I could then regulate my body and my emotions, because we all have trauma, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Some form of it. Yep. Is
yeah, we all have trauma, we all have things, but that is who I learned it from. She's amazing. So
that the first
um
one
sh
that was your first?
no, 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 she's actually a, a therapist, but she specialized in somatic healing. And that was, yeah, yeah.
When is this? Because
When
this
this
is
was years
news
ago.
to me, ladies and gentlemen.
I got you.
This is BS that I don't know this already.
Sorry, sorry,
I'm a
sorry.
little miffed, but there's a couple of things you don't know about me, barely,
Yeah.
because open book over here. You don't even have to
Well,
ask. I'll offer. I was so proud of myself the other day. I didn't offer information to somebody that I could have because it didn't serve me. It just was not like necessary. Anyway, so
good for you.
yeah, thanks.
Hmm.
I can
So,
learn.
um, but I see this is me sharing, so apparently we're both learning.
I know. I know.
Yeah.
Look at that,
So,
ladies and gentlemen. Yeah.
yeah, I was going through a really tough time, and I had
Mhm.
to find a therapist um, that I could trust, like uh, have these types of conversations with.
Yeah.
And she was recommended by somebody that I respected a lot, and she was amazing. But she is the one that taught me that trick,
Very
and
cool.
I was and I didn't even realize it. Like I was just in the thick of it.
Hmm.
Um, and you don't realize maybe how deregulated we are is just people walking around the world. But if you've got stuff going on, that part of your brain is on overload and you're in fight or flight.
Hmm.
And this is how you can kind of physically set it back to at least being able to have a conversation because I was not
Yeah.
putting sentences together. I
Hmm.
was just spewing. So, but yeah,
Well,
that's
there
the
you
fun.
go, audience. You learned something about my best friend that I just learned about at the same time, which is very rare. The
It's
amount of
very rare.
hours we've spent talking to each other in 6 years. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Thanks for sharing,
Um,
Tina.
yeah, you're
Very
welcome.
cool. Very cool. Nice.
Yeah,
Do you still use that occasionally? Do you use it in
I do.
hypnosis? Like, what do you, are
Um,
you,
I do use it when somebody is when a client that I know pretty well is deregulated. I'll do
Mhm.
it out of hypnosis. I haven't tried it in hypnosis. Maybe I'll do that. That might have interesting
It'd be some cool
effects.
imagery.
Yeah, absolutely. I have
Yeah.
to make the alligator friendly.
Yeah, that would be the tricky part. Yeah.
But um, I have asked clients to do that before. You know, if somebody comes and in and is really just deregulated, losing it, that's what
Uh-huh.
I will do. But and then I tell them to do it, you know, on their own, which it does work.
So I know there's people that only listen to us and don't watch the podcast on YouTube, but
Mm-hmm.
I would like to think that most of the listeners are on YouTube. So
Right.
I'm gonna ask because I know there's others that are asking me to ask you this right now. I can feel the energy coming.
Okay.
Can you give us a demo?
No, no, I will. So I can give you a demo. Do you want me to do it or you want to do it? Like the idea here is to literally take a deep breath.
Hmm.
And then as you exhale, allow your shoulders to drop. And then very slowly allow your mouth, your jaw to unclench and allow your jaw to open as slow as possible. So you just breathe on the exhale, unclench the jaw. So really allow the tongue to come off the top of the roof of your mouth and slowly, very slowly open your mouth.
It's kind of hard to do when you're smiling.
Right, slower. So if you're listening, just allow the exhale, unclench the
Mhm.
jaw, and very slowly drop the tongue down off the roof of the mouth and allow the jaw to open very slowly, even slower. Mhm. It's very hard to do when you're trying to do a podcast
Yeah.
and smile and talk,
And I was
but
kind of expecting you to do it to yourself, not to me, but I appreciate that you stepped in as
just slightly
therapist.
suggestible. You are slightly suggestible, which is fun. But
Slightly.
you would want to get it so that your mouth is like all the way open. And at
Really?
that point, yeah, because at that point you'll feel the need to yawn usually, and that's your body trying to regulate itself even more.
Hmm.
So if you find that you've got your mouth halfway open and you're feeling the need to yawn, just yawn and start over. You know, and it does work. It does work. And it's
Very cool.
yeah, it's a somatic trick. So that's one.
Thanks for that, Tina.
You're
Yeah.
welcome. hmm
Yeah.
hmm Yeah, it's good.
It's great. I love it.
hmm
I'm just I use breath personally for
hmm
myself to regulate. And I
hmm
use it, we talk about this all the time.
Right.
Um, I've actually kind of taken, um, what I've learned from John Melton's smoking cessation
Hmm.
certification course, and like what has evolved for me in a way that I use that with clients,
Hmm.
and then coupled that with the box breathing, or as I found it on the internet, it's the tactical breathing technique.
Uh-huh.
And I tell clients, they're like, there's so many different breathing techniques. Pick one that
Yeah.
speaks to you. It doesn't have to be the one that I'm telling you, but
Right.
I've kind of developed this release technique of my own that
Hmm.
combines it all together. Because I
Hmm.
love that what I got from John is, when you're giving someone a different tool than that which they've been using. And this is so apropos, right? Because smokers reach for the cigarette, and now everybody reaches for the freaking phone.
Hmm.
Talk about a call me mechanism, right? So we talk about the call me to the smokers, right? Because it's a mindless reaching. We've
Hmm.
talked about this before. You've
Right.
seen me do this frantic movement before, right?
Yes. 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 It's also self-soothing, you
Yes,
know.
it's
There's
their
a lot of
calming.
self-soothing. Yeah. There's, I meant the phone is almost self-soothing
Yeah,
because it's got this, thing going
tactile
on.
kind of.
Yeah. And, um, yeah, I mean, it's just as damaging.
Yeah. So the
Yeah.
breathing isn't just about breathing, although it can be as simple as the deep breath, right?
Right.
I've been doing this open rib cage thing where I forget where I learned this one, where it's like I think it might have been when I was like enthralled with Peloton and
Oh,
all of
the arms up?
the arm. Well, it
Yeah.
starts here and it's just kind of this
Hmm.
breath in and then
That's a
bringing
yoga
it
thing.
down to center.
Hmm.
I think it might have been, I think it is a
It is.
Peloton bike instructor.
Well, I mean, it originates like back yoga.
Sure, 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 sure.
Right.
Yeah.
But Peloton does it also.
Yeah.
Giving away a lot of free plugs there.
Yeah, I
Um,
know. Right.
somebody should be paying attention.
Somebody.
Um,
I think there's a handful
yeah.
of people paying attention.
Hmm. Yeah, so that works. I mean, even just trying to change where your breath goes.
Hmm.
So if you inhale and you're breathing into your belly, try and switch it to breathing into your back. So trying to expand your rib
Hmm.
cage laterally is an interesting thing. Sometimes just breaking a pattern of what your body's doing, which is why the alligator mouth works.
Yeah.
Um, if it's breath that you're into, just change the breathing pattern, you know? So I like that.
Yeah, me too.
Hmm. Hmm.
It's what works for me to regulate my nervous system, right? When my
Hmm.
autonomic nervous system is feeling a little overloaded, I'll get
Hmm.
up, I'll walk outside, I'll take a few of those deep breaths, I'll get centered, and I'll come right back. Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah. Well, the alligator breathing was definitely that's a little more than being deregulated.
Mm.
It was in like spiral mode. So if you're spiraling, the
Ah,
way to stop that,
yeah.
because then you have to completely stop. You have to stop moving. You have to stop. And all you can do is focus on trying to get your mouth to open that slow. Like it's hard to do. Like you want to just open your mouth, but
Right.
you really try.
But you're shifting your attention. That's what I know.
Yes.
That's the key is shifting
Hmm.
your attention, right? And that's
Hmm.
why people talk about like early days when I was learning to meditate, I was told like, well, just focus on the nose hairs. When you breathe in, notice your nose hairs moving and tickling it. It was just as simple as
Hmm.
shifting your attention to instead of the thing that you're obsessively thinking about, which is
Hmm.
the job, the girl, the boy, the whatever, right?
Hmm.
Um, and it allows you to go inside as well.
Hmm. You have to just shift your attention. But some
Hmm.
people, it's really hard. Like I'm saying, like if you're in that spiral, you're gonna have you have to work to do it, and that's slowing everything down. If you're in that stressful state where you're just going through your day overloaded, blah blah blah,
Hmm.
yeah, take a couple of deep breaths, change the environment, you know, really shift your thoughts into slowing down. So, I mean, both Both are, they're just different situations to be in.
Sure. Yeah.
I, I agree with it. Um, some people will say, no, I can't do that. Okay, great. Get up and dance around then
Right.
because they don't want to sit still. They're not at that place yet. Get
Yeah.
up and dance then. Mhm.
I like to
Dance is good.
move it.
Yeah, moving your body is good. Feel good, do good. Like,
Mm.
you know, that's
Simple life hacks brought to you by our subconscious speaks.
the question is, are you listening?
Yeah.
Like, listen.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Listen. We
Whew.
got you.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. So, um, mhm.
I think
You have
that's,
any other thoughts
I don't
on this
actually. I'm
matter?
like so wonderfully chilled right now. Yeah.
Okay. I mean, yeah, I agree. Chill. That's what everybody needs to do. Just chill.
Take a damn breath. Be
Hmm.
the gator.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, observe. I
What?
don't think we observe enough.
No.
We're too busy doing.
How can you when you're stuck here?
Yeah,
Like,
here.
it's like I can't worry about looking at me because I'm looking at this.
Right, right, right. Yeah, take a look around, observe, slow it down, um, walk slower. There you go. Walk slower. That's a fun one.
Take a stroll.
Deliberate,
Yeah.
deliberate steps.
Yeah.
Be deliberate. Um, you know, I think we're, like I said, I think the overload is out of control a little bit,
Which triggers the fight or flight.
which causes severe anxiety. And it's the number one thing.
Hmm.
You could Google it. It's the number one thing. It's the number one thing that I see. It's the number one thing that technically is diagnosed and prescribed, and you know, and you know, you can't stay that way. And I don't think.
It's not enjoyable, that's for sure.
Mm-mm,
Yeah.
mm-mm.
And unfortunately,
Yeah,
though, because it becomes so known and so like just who you are, that talk track, right, is the first place to start. It's just what I
oh, I
do. It's
guess.
who I am. Like, whoa, take a breath, bro. Like, just,
Yeah. What are some of those ones that I always hear are, that's just this is how I was raised. My mother was the spaz, or like I've heard some crazy things justifying their angst. And I'm
yeah.
like, okay,
And then
I
there's
can't
the
sit
the
still.
the good old well, isn't everybody, it's pretty much like everybody's like this, right? It's the norm, which isn't
Mhm.
completely wrong. It doesn't make it better,
No.
but it's you
Right.
don't feel so alone in the um,
Mhm.
10 years ago, if you had a panic attack disorder, like there was a significant something that was causing
Mhm.
that. It wasn't about
Right.
the overload of COVID and being shut down and shelter in place, and then the election, and now the tariffs, and now the blah, 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 right?
It's just,
TikTok wasn't
yeah,
around 5 years ago.
right.
There was,
Right.
I mean, people did obsess over Instagram. Facebook's always
And
been there, always ready for you to come there and scroll. But
right.
Facebook's turned into kind of like an advertisement book, is what it
Yeah.
really is. Like
Turn into
occasionally,
yellow
I'll see
pages.
one of my friends' posts.
I see Facebook as the yellow pages of this generation.
It's where my people are, so that's where I spend time.
No, no, no. I get it. No, I absolutely agree. I'm just saying, like, because of all the ads,
No, agreed,
it's
100%.
like looking
Yeah,
through the yellow pages, and some people aren't going to know what that is.
fair,
But
fair.
um,
Occasionally, there's a white page in between. Yeah.
big
Like,
ad.
oh,
Like,
hey, Tina posted.
there you go.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's the world that we're living in, and if you don't want to be that way, besides taking inventory and the reflection and what was the other word you used? Really kind of paying attention to your everyday
Watching.
movement, watching. Thank
Yeah.
you. Um, if you're not doing that, like it's not going to get better. It's not
If you keep doing the same thing, you're going to get the same
the
result.
same thing, right? I think, yeah, like it's not going to get
Insanity
better.
is
So,
doing the same thing over and over, expecting a different result. That's the
mhm,
insanity of it.
yeah, Albert Einstein said
Yes.
it best. Yeah,
Yeah.
right. Like that is absolutely true. So, if you want to do something different, you don't have to wait to hit the last block or the last house on the block. You could just come and hang out and see it might work for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
There you
Hmm.
go.
Hmm.
What a wonderful episode.
That's a good one.
It
Good
was. I
one.
thought I feel like when I think about doing these every week, I think about the my intention, which is to be of
Hmm.
service to, even if it's two or three people that hear something and their life changes
Right.
or they take a different, like that is everything,
Hmm.
right? To affect
Hmm.
change, to help someone on their path is just so it's
Hmm.
pretty it's pretty soul fulfilling.
Absolutely. I mean, I think it's why we do what we do.
Yeah.
I have clients that, that are having a tough time and they'll text me like, you know, I just need to hear something.
Yeah.
And, I'll respond and, sometimes I'll send them an audio that I've made. Like, you know, it's why I do what I do.
Yeah.
Because, when you affect change, hopefully it has a ripple effect.
And our ripples rippled together
Yeah.
in the same pond.
Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
In that wonderful pond in
Yes.
Tarzana.
We love that
Um,
pond.
yeah, yeah. And, like all those new students and, people just want
So
to affect
cool.
change.
It's so cool to be
Hmm.
part of that. Like I'm so
Hmm.
honored and I it's late. It's
Hmm.
late on Thursdays, 7 to 10. It's a long, like I see, like Thursday I saw three clients and then I did this practicum from 7 to 10 and it was, but like at the end of it, I'm got this big smile on my face and I just love it.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, how many times did we, say that we were, sitting in class after class after class, but yet we were thrilled and time was flying by. It's just,
Hmm.
there's just something to be said for being a part of something where it changes lives.
Greater good.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah, and I
Quite
happen to know a few
simply.
of those ones that are going
Yeah.
in, 201 right now. So I love it when they affect change.
Yeah.
Hmm.
It's so cool to see the lights come on
Hmm.
where they're like,
Hmm.
holy moly, I can make a difference. Like
Hmm.
truly in a different way.
Yeah, yeah.
This last group, there were people that like already had licenses and other modalities, and there was
Hmm.
a psychotherapist and a family marriage therapist that like wanted to add this because it's
Hmm.
so valuable. I
Right.
just love that, right? It seems as though the world is opening up to receiving this gift called hypnotherapy.
Well, yeah, because I think the old ways aren't cutting it anymore. I think it's too in the box. And there's a lot of information out there.
Hmm.
And there's more than one way to do something. Um, and not everything needs to be discussed for 8 hours on a couch. Sorry, Freud. Say Drake. It's like
But
that's
even
my say
Freud
Drake
used
moment.
imagery. Lay down, close your eyes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, he did. He did. I was just kind of
I
being
know.
funny.
I know you're
Um,
poking.
for those that don't know, I was just kind of being funny. But
Yeah.
yeah, I think that the big picture is, you know, if you want to change, you're going to have to do something different. So when you're tired of feeling like this, you'll call.
Yeah.
When you can actually hear your subconscious speaking to you, you'll call. The question is, are you listening?
Yeah. How can you when you're scrolling?
It's true. It's true. I mean, look, we're all guilty of it. And
I'm a
I'm not,
scroll. I
well,
scroll,
I will scroll with the
but
best of
I
them.
scroll with purpose. There are times when I don't, though. I'm going to be honest. There's times when I'm
Right.
just
You
flipping
get hooked.
through
Like
and I'm like,
there's
oh, tap,
something.
tap, flip, 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 flip.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's
Hmm.
just become kind of a habitual part of us all.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there's always something, right? Like that will catch you. And I think we all do it. And, I mean, if I'm scrolling, here's the weird thing for me, and I'm sure everybody can identify with this. At least I hope so, or I'm gonna be the weird one. But you're scrolling along, you're smiling at the cat, the cat
Oh my
videos,
God,
and
I saw a
then
cat video today. It was so, I was literally laughing out loud so much. And I'm like, I love that. That
hmm
produces joy and these silly
hmm
cat. Oh,
and these
okay.
silly cat videos, and then
Ah,
maybe you have like the funny fall videos where the dad falls in the pool or
yeah, yeah,
whatever.
yeah,
And then so you're laughing and laughing and laughing, and then you see something that triggers sad emotion, and it's that quick. And
yeah,
it happens to me a lot, and that's how I know, okay, I got to get off here,
yeah.
because I just went from laughing at the cat video to listening to some haunting version of Purple Rain, and I'm in tears, like. And I have to say it because not only am I wearing the shirt, but
Yeah. We're
it's been
voluntarily entering into a state of hypnosis. Absolutely.
that was my point of the story.
100%. Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah, and it's
And that's not
I
always bad. You just, but be aware of it.
be aware and know that what you're taking in then is really hitting that subconscious mind. It's really in there, like
Yeah.
it's hitting there. So yeah, so
Yeah.
that's when you
And
know.
last tip on this whole scrolling thing, right? I think it was Gary V that I picked this up from. He said, you know, enough of the BS talking about the algorithm, like it's some sort of
Hmm.
entity that is out there that magically. No, no, you're the. He said you're the algorithm.
True,
So
true.
the algorithm will feed you that which you want to see. So
Hmm.
if you want to see positivity, then you like the positivity posts and you know,
Hmm.
more of that'll show up. But
The law of attraction, the
yeah,
hypnosis ones. I mean,
yeah,
your favorite music.
yeah.
Maybe it's your favorite animals, whatever it is. Yeah, yeah. But if you are laughing 1 second and crying the next, you are in hypnosis like nobody's business.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a way out.
There is. There is. Mm-hmm. Because you don't want to be stuck there. Yeah. Yeah. That's
So
how we do
you
it.
can our contact information is always in the show notes. It's so funny. Like I think at least 6 minutes ago you did the closing kind of
I
little
did.
talk track and then we just kept going.
Of course.
That'll
Because
happen.
we're part, because this is who we are, really.
It's just
Like
who
this
we
is
are.
how it goes.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Hmm.
I'll if you want help, if you're ready, if you're at the end of your rope, tie a knot in it and call us. Go to our website, fill out a form. Don't give up. You're not alone.
Nope.
Even though you feel like it, you're not.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Call, text, email,
Yeah.
subscribe, follow, like.
Yes. All of that.
We're here.
We're
All
here.
of that.
Absolutely. And
We're here.
more. All right.
More. Just wait.
Happy
Everything's
spring.
fine. Happy spring.
Yeah.
Happy holiday.
Happy
Whatever,
holidays.
whatever holiday.
Yeah, I mean, there's
Um,
multiple holidays happening right now.
yes,
Whatever
there is.
your faith is. Yeah.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
I think
Yeah.
it's just a wonderful time of the year. It's a really wonderful opportunity to have your own kind of birthing and rebirthing and blooming, right? Come into your own
Bloom.
season.
Mm-hmm. Bloom.
Yeah. Bloom. Nice.
Bloom.
I love you.
I love you bunches, man.
So grateful you're in my life.
Absolutely. I'm
Yeah.
grateful you are here. It's very nice
Yeah.
to have you in my life. So,
All right. You want to close this out
okay.
again?
Again,
Yeah.
our subconscious
Tradition.
speaks. The question is, are you listening?
All right. Thanks, everybody. Bye.